phone number, and I said you're hiding because you are evil. You were on the fence and still wanted to meet him, which made me very worried and anxious, so I had to tell your dad for your safety. Unfortunately, Amanda's involvement didn't end there, only resuming when she got her phone back. They started calling regularly as Amanda developed feelings for him, but as time went on, Camden began to insist that she move out to Georgia. He allegedly pressured her for nudes and claimed they needed to have a child together to reincarnate her dead best friend. He also became aggressive as she made excuses not to run away. I never ran away to Georgia. I always tried to find an excuse because I knew if I ran away, I wouldn't be safe anymore. Anytime I told him I can't move to Georgia, he'd always yell at me and threaten to kick me out, threaten my friend's soul, that God and the angels would hate me, and that heaven wouldn't allow me to stay when I died. It got to the point where I felt so torn that I didn't want to live anymore. The evidence server has screenshots of Camden asking Amanda to move to Georgia. The conversation is undated, but must take place before December of 2016. It appears to have taken place over Instagram, with Camden's username as modern_grim. We need to talk. I need to get you in the car and come here now. What's going on? Just do it. You're scaring me. Can you or can you not? I can't. When can you? Either December or January. I had an interview for a job today, but I'm so sick I couldn't get out of bed. It was a similar pattern when Amanda tried to leave the group, as he'd always pull her back in. Then he told Amanda and Spencer they were soulmates and allegedly forced them to be in a relationship. This one time, he told me and Spencer that we were soulmates and literally forced us to be in a relationship. He made us buy rings for each other so we could get married in Georgia. He also made me give him my address so he knows where I live. It's worth mentioning that at some point Spencer was accused of cheating on Amanda. The story is recounted in Spencer's testimony.
There was one night that I had gone out with my friend, and I had already told my girlfriend at the time that, hey, my friend is going to be spending the night. I do want you to know that in the past I did have feelings for her, but I don't anymore. You know, just being like completely transparent with her, making sure that she knew that, you know, I'm not gonna hide anything from her. And that night we had gotten matching tattoos, and it's the one on my chest, and she spent the night, and next thing I know, Camden's calling in the morning. Then I'm getting calls from my girlfriend, and everyone's freaking out and screaming at me, and I can't even figure out what's going on. And then finally, from my girlfriend, I hear he's trying to say that you're cheating on me because she spent the night. Is this true that you're like in love with her still? And I was like, I told you everything last night. You know that. And when we got into a call with him as well, all three of us on Facebook Messenger, he's just screaming, claiming I cheated and all this, and my friend literally grabbed the phone, started screaming back. I can't even remember because my head was like spinning. I didn't know what to think because I was like, you know, even though we were kind of forced into a relationship, I still did love this girl, but it was like, why is he trying to hurt her like that, and why is he trying to attack me like that?
Okay, now let's go back to Michaela's written statement from the podcast. Michaela recalls staying for a couple more months after they broke up with Spencer. That changed once she found out Camden was messing around with her now ex-best friend from childhood. It was only then that she distanced herself from the cult, being the first to actually leave.
I stayed a couple more months until I found out he was messing around with my now ex-best friend from my childhood, somebody I grew up with, and that was Kat. I think it was more so because of the distance that I kept from the beginning, the reason I was able to distance myself from the whole thing entirely. From what I remember, I was the first one to be able to actually leave, but it didn't stop after I left.
There's a few pieces of evidence that offer insight to this series of events. On August 27th, 2016, Camden updated his Facebook page to state he was in a relationship. This was likely related to a subsequent post updating his cover photo to a picture of Katherine Hempsall. Katherine was born on October 5th, 1998, making her the same age as Michaela. She grew up in Georgia and started dating Camden around this time. Interestingly, Spencer calls Katherine out by name. Spencer questions if Katherine is complicit before saying Camden rubbed her in their faces.
His girlfriend at the time, Katherine Hempsall, this is way after I'm in a relationship with him. I will never know if she was fully complicit, but there had to be a point where she realized what was going on, that something wasn't right, and that he was using her to lure in other people. But she ended up being rude to a lot of us for no reason, and it was probably because at the time, even before we realized like something was up, those of us that were in relationships with him still had feelings for him. It was like, He kept rubbing it in our faces and being like, oh yeah, haha, this could be you if you were better. Like, it just always felt like he was using that to demean us in a way, like our feelings for him and our trust for him.
Michaela says that after she left, Camden sabotaged her friendships with the other girls. But it didn't work, as she kept receipts for everything. It's unclear what these receipts were meant to be, as this predates all of her allegations. Meanwhile, Camden never had proof for his claims, such as telling everybody she was Cthulhu and that she was evil. The following is a Snapchat conversation from before August 29, 2016. It's between Camden and Spencer, who at this point went by Cleo. The screenshots were obtained from the evidence server. Many have interpreted one message as Camden stating he has a boyfriend. I'm fairly certain it's Kat taking the phone and texting through his account though. But they do in fact show that Camden, Catherine, and many others had turned on Michaela. Nah, I'm done. I'm sorry, but still, I don't like hearing it. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. Everyone is laughing at her because she's so fucking pathetic. Well, I'm sorry. Nah, just go. I can't deal with anyone who deals with her. So if you have to be her friend, then don't fucking talk to me. Kat doesn't like her. I don't like her. Gavin doesn't like her. No one likes her because she's not worth my time nor my thought. Because that's exactly what she is. A thought. And I don't mean that hole over there. I mean an experience that I honestly hope would have stayed in my head. So please, for me, fuck off until I say otherwise. Camden, please, I'm sorry. I'll try and do better. I promise. I won't talk about her anymore to you. Nah, bruh. You legit don't know how many people hate her. So in return, they dislike you now. Just because of who I'm cool with? So I'm out. I don't need him hating on me too. Who? Who do you think? I don't know. I'm tipsy. I'm sorry. Look, it's Kat. Leave my boyfriend alone with this shit, to be honest. Bro, I don't mean any harm. You. That was for Kayla. What does the screenshot accomplish? Me trying? I didn't mean to. I'm cuddling him and it slipped. I hope you're having fun with that. Promise me you'll treat him right. Please? Just a screenshot? Well, have a good day at school tomorrow, I suppose. In her written testimony, Michaela states she tried to patch things up with Camden and Kat at homecoming. This would have taken place sometime in the fall of 2016.
At the time, I was still experiencing some codependency, and honestly, I had been completely isolated because of him, and I was trying to get my friends back, so at homecoming that year, he and his new girlfriend were there, and I spent the whole night sorting it out and trying to fix it so I could get my friends back.
He decided to bring her back, but kept her on the outskirts as he knew he couldn't trust her anymore. That is, to the extent of our knowledge, the context of the alleged assaults that took place in December of 2016. Michaela states that a week after her birthday, as well as on Christmas Eve, she met Camden in a church parking lot in the middle of the night. It was under the pretense of discussing issues within the cult. Instead, Michaela says that Camden SA'd her, though at the time she didn't necessarily consider it.
He brought me back, but he kept me on the outskirts at that point because he knew he couldn't trust me anymore. In December of 2016, a week after my birthday, and then again on Christmas Eve, I met him in a church parking lot in the middle of the night under the pretenses of he wanted to talk about some things that were going on within the group. Both times he ended up raping me in that church parking lot, and at the time I didn't necessarily consider it because I didn't try to fight even though I told him I didn't want to. I was too scared to draw attention to myself doing something like that in public, even though it wasn't something that I wanted, and he took advantage of that.
But Spencer's recount of this is different. Spencer claims that Michaela was SA'd in a ditch outside of a church. Michaela also supposedly had screenshots of Camden stating he was going to go over there.
Was there a specific moment that led to your decision to escape?
Kayla getting sexually assaulted by him, like literally in a ditch outside of a church. It was December of, I want to say 2017, or was it 2017 or 2016? I don't even know. Timeline's warped.
This apparently led her to force Michaela to go to the authorities. The assault is even said to have caused Michaela to get pregnant and miscarry. Now, what likely happened is that Spencer is confusing this with events that occurred later on. There's no evidence of Michaela reporting the assaults in December. Michaela states that after this, she did back off, only staying in contact with 2 or 3 people. Then, in 2017, Camden called and asked if he could come over. Michaela was visiting her grandparents' house who were not home at the time. This is the incident she would ultimately report to authorities, alleged to have occurred on May 26, 2017.
He started trying to pull down my pants, at which point I started fighting him and I kept telling him, no, I'm not doing this. He kept trying and I started screaming, at which point he grabbed my throat and told me if I kept screaming, he was going to kill me. He kept his hand on my throat the entire time, to the point that I had a bruise in the shape of his hand around my throat for a month. It's not even the worst part of it. When he was done, he went across the room. I kind of took a minute to process what happened, and when I sat up, he was looking at me and he was like, what just just happened. So I said, you to me is what just happened. And he literally broke down crying and was like, I would never do that to you. You were asleep this whole time. I could never hurt you like that. And this went on for 30 minutes where I had to comfort him because I didn't want to end up dead because I said the wrong thing. He led me downstairs to the couch where we sat for an hour, and as I tried to convince him that I wasn't going to call the cops, that I wasn't going to report this that I believed that it was just a dream. I believed he would never hurt me like that, and he wasn't that kind of person.
Michaela broke down once Camden left and called one of her best friends. That best friend was Spencer, who convinced Michaela to report him to the authorities.
Once he left, I finally broke down to one of my best friends, and I told her what happened, and she's the one who convinced me to call the cops. And that was me. It was only about 12 hours later, but I did call the cops, and I reported everything.
The following exchange was obtained from the evidence server. Why did you leave? Camden, I don't know if I can trust him right now. What happened? So, he came over to supposedly talk to me about the Grim Wolves. Well, no talking happened, except for about Josiah. I got and he's claiming it was an apparition that looks like him, and I don't know. It hurts. Call the police, report him. I already took a shower. They can't do a kit on me anymore. My first instinct was to scrape my skin off. You still have a chance to get him. Honestly, Cleo, I'm terrified of calling the cops. I honestly think he did it because I just got in a relationship today. I think it was possessiveness. Don't be scared. He had no right to do that. You need to do something. I'm terrified. He's likely done that to other girls, Callie. I know. But what if Kat comes after me or some shit? You tell her that he had no right to do it and you're only there for a week. I'm staying all summer. Then you stay away from her. Don't even talk to her. I'm so scared, Cleo. I know, Callie. Trust me. But you have a chance to get him because God knows who else he's going to do it to or has done it to. My parents can't find out. And if they do, you're 18. They don't have to have your medical records. You can go in yourself. It'll be held confidential. I'm on their insurance, though. It doesn't matter. If nothing gets reported, he gets away with it. He's tried making me run away again for sex, tried making Anya do the same. Same with Ayala and Kalani. You can go down the road and call 911. I'm leaving the demons. I can't do it if he's going to treat me that way. You need to report him, Callie. It's too late. What proof do I have? I'm not leaving until everybody is out safely. You still have a little time. I'll call the cops. Michaela reported Camden to law enforcement the next day on May 27th, 2017. The allegations were taken quite seriously.
Nice, so that's gonna be playing in the background on the entire video. Fucking hell. Alright, fair enough. GG's.